Okay, so before we start, I would like to say that we should not play conference call bingo. So every background will be a little bit too noisy for us. So you are all on mute at the beginning. Of course, you can raise your hand. You can ask and do comments in the chat. We can also give you after every slide the microphone and open it if you like to. So there's a lot of opportunities to ask, but everything which is going on in the background, yeah, should not be so noisy. I have a dog with me, but he is very nice. So if you hear him, excuse me, but normally he's very nice on that, okay? Thank you for understanding. So no conference bingo. Like I said, everybody is on mute. You can use the chat every time. We are watching the chat and we are very happy to respond to you in the chat or ask you to speak if you like, or if not, we can just answer what you say in the chat. At the end of each slide, I give time for Q&A. If you want to raise your hand, I see some of you are also using the video. That is great. Make sure you have a nice background. And yeah, comments are welcome anytime. And please have fun. That's all we need. So let's go directly to the topic today. So my background is customer experience, actually. I was working for Lazada Vietnam, part of Alibaba Group, in customer experience, as head of customer experience. I did projects for MIT and Jojo Group to implement customer experience in Vietnam and Myanmar. One customer we had was also Shawal Pay, which is a drop shipping from Amazon. So we know a lot about customer experience and e-commerce, also with ride hailing, and also with companies like H&M, Citibank, and so on. That's a little bit of background. I'm also an MPC trainer for agile management and project management. We will come later to that. So customer experience. So CX stands for customer experience. So the first thing a lot of people ask normally is, what is customer experience? And I would like to ask you. So I will open a poll and you can answer, and you can answer multiple choice. Okay, so you have more than one choice if you want. So please, I'm launching the poll. Okay, arrow for one. Okay, I'm launching the poll. Good. Okay, if you see the poll, please answer which one you think is included in customer experience. We have any transactions of the customer, any experience the customer does with the product, all the UI, UX part, which is web related, and any kind of service experience. Okay, we give you 30 seconds more to respond. Okay, that's a very interesting picture. 25 out of 34 respond. So we have still 9 people more to respond. Let's get them quickly. Good. So let's have a look at your polling. So most of you said service experience, which of course is true. It's all about services. But at the same time, it's also the experience with the products. So one of the first thing you really should think about customer experience, you are selling services and products. And both the services and the product should be great. That's why the customer comes back and buys them again and would recommend you. Now, UI UX, for everybody who's very proud about UI UX, actually UI UX is a part of customer experience. I know in a lot of seminars it's treated extra, but it's a part of customer experience because it's actually the web journey. And I will show you later customer experience journey from Grab and from other companies, where you see that part is online, part is offline. And whatever is online, we call UI, UX. Yeah? UI is more the function, UX is more the experiences you are doing. Customer transactions, of course, is customer experience. So everything the customer tries to do with you, even it's not your product or service, is still an experience. Yeah, if you don't offer this product and service, it's normally a bad experience. So be careful with that. Okay. So thank you for voting. So from now on, if you have any questions, please use the chat or raise your hand. So, like I said already, customer experience includes everything the customer is doing with your company. So it's products, UI, UX, and the services. Yeah? So normally we define customer experience how the customer feels and thinks about every interaction with your product or service. So every interaction actually with your company. Yeah. Doesn't have to be directly with your product and service, but normally service. So everything the customer can touch or see about your company, even it's only an ad in the street, it's already customer experience. Yeah. And the important part here is how he feels about it. Yeah. Does it give him good emotions or bad emotions? Now, a lot of people always ask, what's the difference between customer experience and customer service? So normally customer service is the service level you have. So people say, oh, they have a good service, they have a bad service, yeah? But in most companies, customer service is actually the hotline, yeah? And like we used to say, the moment you come to the hotline, it's already too late. Because if you have a great product or a great service, people should not go to the hotline. Yeah. So we used to say that customer experience is a little bit like the gym. So you make the company fit, that everything is going great and the customer is happy with everything he sees and touches and do with the company. Customer service is the doctor. So once the customer gets sick, he has to go to the doctor, which is your hotline, and you have to fix it. And like in real life, try to fix everything on customer experience, which means the gym, before people really have issues. Yeah, so you as a company should be aware what's going on by researchers, by feedback, and fix it before a lot of customers start to complain or have a bad experience about it. And that's exactly what we do in customer experience. So customer experience is a little bit more proactive. CS, customer service, especially the hotline, is more reactive when things already go down. Do we have any questions from anybody? Okay. Doesn't look like, so we will go on. We still have at the end maybe 10 minutes to ask questions, so no problem about that. And we also have some exercises where I need some answers from you on the chat in between. Okay, good. Now, why customer experience is so important? I mean, people are talking about your company or your product and your services, and the better people talk about it, the more you sell. So if we see some statistics here, 86% of buyers would pay more for a better customer experience. So people value customer experience also by money. So a lot of times when you have the same products in two shops and one shop treats you a little bit better, or they have a smoother parking, they have more friendly people, they have some little extras, they have maybe a loyalty program or anything which doesn't cost you so much, they rather go to this one, even though it's exactly the same product. Yeah? And especially when it comes to people, training of people, friendliness, and so on. Second number here we have is 74% of customers spend more on a good service. That's exactly what I said about the people. And 80% really look for reviews. So you really want people to be excited, because only very excited people get reviews, or very pissed off people give very bad reviews. So you have to be careful of that. People with a normal experience normally don't give a lot of feedback. So you really have to make people excited. If we look to the other statistic here, 7 out of 10 experiences, buying experiences, about the feeling of the customer. So it's not only the logical part, it's not only the price, it's not only the package maybe, it's also about the feeling. So you have to look on the entire customer journey, and I will show you some customer journeys during this webinar. So don't look only at the price all the time. Yeah? And this is the last statistic. It's pretty interesting here. It takes 12 positive experience to make up for 1 negative. So people are much faster slashing you or telling people that you are not good than telling people that you are good. Yeah. So there's another statistic that people are 7-8 times more likely to complain than to recommend you. So keep that in mind. So you really have to work on the good experience rather than only fixing the bad experiences. Yeah. And if people really make a bad experience with you, it doesn't mean they can come back. You still can rescue it with CS if the customer is willing to complain and you do something for them. But sometimes it's too late. But in case you find out that the customer has a really bad experience, you should have the right feedback channel that the customer can come to you and feel confident to come to you. That's why we need customer experience. Okay. Do we have any questions about that slide? Okay, so we go on. Now, I show you two customer experiences here. The first one is from Grab. So we have Grab in Myanmar, Vietnam, and all Southeast Asia. So if we break down the headlines of the customer experience, we call that customer journey. And this is not the entire customer journey. These are only the headline steps. So normally you can break down every customer journey in, let's say, 5 to 10 steps. So you should just take the major steps. So the major steps on Grab is that you start the app. Sometimes you have a pre-step that you have to download it and things like that. These are all experiences. You have to find it. The first time I was downloading Grab in Vietnam, I downloaded the rider Grab because maybe I was not clever enough or it was not clear. So I was super confused because I had an internal admin Grab app on my phone rather than the customer app. But, so you really start from the beginning. And then people do the booking and pay by card at the beginning. And then in every customer journey, you normally have a waiting time. Yeah, so if you are not directly in a shop, but even in a shop, you can have a queuing time. So please also think about that. So the third step on Grab after you book is waiting. Then you take a ride. Then you pay by cash at the end of the journey and you got dropped off. And that's normally where it ends. And then optional, you can rate or also contact the help center if it helps on Grab. I'm not sure about it. Now, if you look at these, and this is now for you a question in the chat, and I will also write it in the chat. If you look into this journey with the 6 steps, how many of these steps are online? So we have 6 steps here. How many of these steps are online? Okay, we have 3, 2. Okay, any other opinion? 2 was a private message, was a little bit shy, but yeah, somebody else is saying 2. Okay, actually, yes, the green ones, the 2 are fully online, and this is where you have to fix your UI UX. This is where your UI UX thing comes in. Yeah. Okay. Now, 4, I don't believe, because that means you don't. I understand why you say 4, because the last step can be online. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So if we take the last step as a mandatory step, 3 to 4 steps can be online. That's actually very smart. I even haven't thought about that. Thank you very much. So let's go from the beginning. On the app, the start, of course, is online. The booking, pay by card is online. The waiting is online, depends on you. I mean, some people, when they wait, they do something else. Some people like me, when they wait, they look all the time on the app and look where the rider is. So it's still a kind of online for me because I'm a little bit impatient and I try to track the rider down, and I'm not heavy when they don't move. So waiting can be online, depends on your behavior. Yeah? Or you just forget about it and wait until they call you. Take the ride, and the payment by cash and the drop-off, of course, is offline, and then the after sales can be online again. Okay? Yeah, so 3 to 4 steps. Thank you very much. Now, if we come to the customer journey of e-commerce. So also in 6 steps, I mean, you can make it also in 7, 8 steps. It's up to you. This is now something we actually used in Lazada, but Amazon has a very similar one. So the first step is that you go to the app or to the landing page, and we call it discovery, because you see a lot of stuff there going on, and you just look around. The second step is when you click into a specific product, and we call it the research step. And the third step is actually the checkout, which are normally 3 masks, where you see the address field, or where you put in the address field, where you choose the delivery option, and then you pay or choose the payment option, and you click confirm. And then again, you have a waiting time, which is a little bit longer than on Grab, because depends on the e-commerce, can be 1 to 3, 5 days, depends on your location. And then, and it also depends what a company is doing with you with waiting time. So waiting time is also a chance for you as a company to help the customer actually, and we will come to that. And then we have the delivery step and the after sales step. So again, the same questions. How many of these steps are online? Okay, in the chat, please. Okay, these are very interesting answers. Okay, good. So I see 3 steps online, which is the landing page discovery step, the product research page, and the checkout, because this is what you do on the app or on the web. Yeah. Now, can anybody explain to me, maybe Tan 9, why 5 to 6 steps are online? Okay, maybe we unmute your phone. Okay, can you please explain why 5 to 6 steps are online?
Hello.
Yes, hello. So you said 5 to 6 steps are online. Why is that? Okay.
Because most of all of these are from online because we have to check delivery times and the dispatch information is online. After 6 of it, something happened, complaint or something like that, it's going to be online as well.
Okay, so you're right. Even the waiting has a step online because what do you see during the waiting on online?
Waiting because for my experience, I always check the delivery company. Where is their transit now? So I'm using online for this.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we call it tracking tools. So normally on
Yeah.
e-commerce, they have something which they call tracking tool. Actually, not many people are using it, so you are already a premium customer on that. So, and what do you mean on the delivery? Why the delivery is online?
So when they come, when this my item is delivered, I have to sign by digital sign. It's online, and we can check. Sometimes I'm not at the house, so somebody signed for me to receive this item. So sometimes I can check who got this my item at my home. So
Okay,
it's also online.
That's great. But part of the delivery, which we call product, of course, is offline, unless you get an online product. I mean, if you buy a video or a game, the journey is fully online, of course, because you
Yeah.
download something.
For example, if you buy iTunes cap or software, so delivery also online, right?
Yes, yes. But if we buy a product, then we have part of the delivery offline, what we call.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're right. After sales is the same like on Grab. We can chat on the app or whatever they give us, so we can be online again. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I see another answer on the chat, and it's the same. That yeah, if you are a customer who really maybe also doesn't trust so much the e-commerce, you check every step. Okay, online as much as possible, and a lot of providers help you on that. It's also sometimes good if you not only have the tracking tool, a lot of e-commerce providers also send text messages or emails in certain stages of the product, or they call 1 day before, 1 hour before, half an hour before. So there are many steps to help the customer to receive the product. Yeah? Okay. Any questions about the headline steps of customer journeys? So this is normally how we start a customer journey. We map the 5 to 10 steps of what we offer to the customer. A little bit higher level, but it helps already. Okay. Any questions? Okay, then we carry on. And we will come back to that. We will have a little bit more detail level. Now, if we stay with Grab, because I think everybody here, we have people from different countries, Southeast Asian countries in the webinar today, we all know Grab and we all know ride hailing. Yeah? So when we have the headlines and the steps of the customer journey, we normally look at the touch points and the pain points. This is the next step in customer journey. Now, touch point means in every step what the customer can see or feel or do. Now, if you help me with some chat answers, please. If I open Grab, and you can do it at the same time if you're not sure about it, what do you see on the starting screen? What are touch points on the starting screen? Yes. Okay, in the starting screen, we see the map. Actually, no. If I open grep in the starting screen, I don't see the map in the Vietnamese version. I can show you. Okay. So yeah, we see different products. We see apps. We see this different products. So that's what we see on the starting screen. We see different functions. Yeah. And then there's one thing which is always very important on a landing screen from even on e-commerce. What do they show you? Because they want to attract you. Beside all the product and services they offer, they also show you the price and ads. Yeah, very important on starting screens are ads. Okay. And of course, you want to have very attractive ads. Yeah, price, so functions, price. So that's a little bit the landing page. So that's we see. Okay. Sometimes, and I have here on my screen an example, sometimes Grab does it a little bit annoying. They put information on the starting screen, which you have to click away. Because for me, putting information on the starting screen is a little bit the wrong place, because normally most people who open Grab are already late to get a ride. So the last thing you want is to read something about their new product or about the new functions. Yeah. Then on the second, so when you go into, let's say, the Grab riding function, yeah, or the taxi function, what do you see then when you click on the taxi function? What are the touch points on the booking part? So we click on car. And what are the touch points you see? Yeah, now we see the map. I mean, and somebody said it before, a very big touch point of Grab is the map. Yeah, even later when you want to track them or when they arrive, the map is very, very important. You see destinations, you see starting points, and maybe you have to correct it sometimes. You see the address field, you get different options. Yeah. Yeah. But a very, very big touch point here on the user experience is, of course, the map. This is a little bit the starting screen, and you see the addresses. Yeah. Okay, I will come to that again. So what does touch points and pain points mean? What I show you at the moment, everything we see in every step are touch points. Yeah, and I will have the written ones below. So the map is a touch point. Yeah, everything a customer can see or touch. Yeah? I will make it more clear when we go through the slide. Now, when you wait for the rider, what is a touch point on the waiting? What happens normally during the waiting time? Yeah, you see the time duration, hopefully running down and not getting more. Sometimes it's getting more. Yeah. What else do you see during the waiting time? Yeah, the information about the rider and the number plate and so on, and maybe even the color of the car and where the vehicle is. Funnily, you also see your own location. And I'm not sure if you know, the rider cannot see or the driver cannot see your location. Yeah, because Grab doesn't want to confuse the rider. Grab wants the rider or the taxi go to the location you ordered, not somewhere else. Okay, this is during waiting time. So the touch points during waiting time is the timing, is the map, is the location, the rates, maybe the rates you see before you book. Yeah, we forgot that before, the price and the rates. Also before, in the booking part, we saw the payment options, if there are different payment options. Okay. Then the next part we do, we take the ride, okay, or we take the taxi. So what are the touch points when you take the taxi or when you are on the ride? And now we come to the offline journey, yeah? Because until waiting, it was partly online, offline, but now we come to the offline journey. Okay. Yeah, you see the minutes to destination if you still look at your phone inside the taxi, yeah? But what is very important when you take the ride for you? Yeah, so one of the biggest touch points of the whole Grab journey is the driver. And not only the driver, what is another physical touch point? So how is the driver? Is he dressed okay? Is he friendly? Does he give a good service? Does he chat with you? Yeah. The service and the safety, but a very, very important touch point, which you see immediately when he arrives, is the taxi itself. I mean, is the taxi from outside clean? Is it the size you expected? Is it inside very nice? Is the smell very nice? Is it clean? Yeah. Is the music the one you want? Is it too loud? Does the rider talk on the phone during your ride? And so on. So if you take the ride, here is a motorbike ride, but we can do a taxi ride. The vehicle and the cleanness of the vehicle and the smell and the comfort is a very big touch point. And the rider is also a big touch point. And I believe that when you take the ride, it's much more important that you're still on the app. Because before you rated the app and you say the app is okay, but now this is where you really make an impression as Grab. If you have a good, comfortable ride, if you go in the right direction and so on. Yeah, if he drives too fast, too slow, very secure. Very good point here. Somebody writes to me directly air condition. Yeah, so is the air condition in the right temperature? These are all touch points. So everything you feel, see, and can touch as a customer are touch points. Yeah? And then, of course, on the last step, what are the touch points? I will show you. Rate Help Center is, of course, the rating screen. Yeah. And then if you have problems, the Help Center. Yeah. Does anybody of you have any experience with the Help Center of Grab? Did you ever had to interact with the Help Center of Grab? Okay, Oliver, can you tell us quickly how it was? Let's unmute Oliver and let's ask him how it was, the interaction with Grab. Hello, Oliver.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So why did you call Grab and how was the interaction with them?
All
Or what
right.
did you chat with them?
Yeah. I think I've called like twice or thrice. Very like for the first time. That's because of I love my like bag on the taxi, and you know like when he picked up me, like he was calling by his by the internet, so I haven't have like his phone number, so I have to connect to the like to the help center immediately, and I just call him. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. And the next time was like the driver was like slightly impolite, like yeah, that's why. And like he spoke like some words like that we should hear and some stuff. So I just report to the help center.
How did they react?
Yeah, they react like I didn't read them on like immediately because like I'm the passenger, so and that's their cup. I'm in their like area, so whenever I do something, they can respond immediately on me. So I didn't respond anything on that, and I just respond to the help center to like to report on this driver like that.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. But
Thank you, sir.
ideally, we don't want to go to the help center, right? I mean,
Yeah.
somebody's even asking, what is the help center? I mean, Grab has a help center, but we
Yeah.
normally don't go there. We just give a rating, good or bad. But just if it's a
Yeah.
very severe case, yeah, the help center is for customer complaints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it really effective.
What do you say? Sorry.
I think it's really effective for like for some serious cases or some lost and found. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good. So everything you see and feel in the 6 steps are touch points. And to make it a little bit more clear, I also wrote them down below. So these are touch points. So what we already said in the starting screen, any pop-ups, any information, any promotions, any options you have are touch points. In the booking screen, the map, the address field, is it easy to find your address? Is it not easy? The payment options, the arrival time, the estimated time, the location of the rider, these are all touch points, which makes you decide if you buy it or not, and if you feel happy about it or not. Then in the waiting step, a touch point of call, if they call you or if they write you messages, if you see the location, and then here motorbike rider, or also on the taxi case, the taxi itself, the vehicle, and the rider, the driver, and then how is the interior of the taxi. Yeah. And then when you are also on the route and before you pay, I mean, which route did he take? Did he really take the most effective route which you wanted? How was the payment? I mean, sometimes they have cash issues or they cannot change. And how is the drop off? I mean, does he really drop you off? Does he drop you off safely in the parking, on the street, and so on? These are all touch points. Yeah, and then the touch points on the after sales is the rating if you do it, and then if you need, maybe chat or call in the help center, but not many of us are doing that. Yeah. And some of them are pain points. So I had some meetings with Grab actually before, and they confirmed to me that which are the main pain points, and I will show it to you in red. So the red ones are the main pain points. Yeah, so people don't like the pop-ups at the beginning. Promotions are sometimes not very clear or seem not to be fair with the point system. Payments, because sometimes not all the cards work, not all the banks work. And of course, people have a problem with the arrival time. Yeah, that the arrival time is not very correct. And then, like we said before, one of the complaints can be the driver itself or the vehicle and the route. And then sometimes we cannot even get to the help center if we need it. So pain points are actually touch points where most customer complaints, not a single customer complaints, but most customer complaints. That's exactly what you want to fix under customer experience. Because if you fix the complaints of most customers, it means overall your service is getting better. Okay, do we have any questions here on this more detailed customer journey? So you learned now to have 6 steps of a customer journey. You learned to map touch points below, and you learned, if you get feedback from your customers, if you make a lot of surveys, and I will come to that, which are the pain points inside the touch points. Okay. So let's carry on. So how do we measure customer experience? So there are a lot of ways to measure customer experience. And so most companies do ratings, 1 to 3 or 1 to 5. This is normally very effective because it's very fast for the customers to do it, and a lot of customers do it. Another way is if you send customer email service or other kind of or phone service, but that's not really a good response rate. A lot of customers do not respond. And we use it normally only to understand why ratings are good or bad. So we don't use them too frequently. Another thing is NPS. Does anybody know in the chat what NPS stands for? Yes, Net Promoter Score. So just briefly, Net Promoter Score is a 0 to 10 rating where you rate also how you feel about the whole service, about the whole brand. So normally you would ask customer monthly, every 3 months, every 6 months, how they feel about your brand, or if they would recommend you. Another way is focus groups. I mean, even for companies like Grab or Alibaba or Amazon, they should sometimes really meet customers and ask them how they feel and what are the problems. Because sometimes when you meet customers, maybe in a coffee place or somewhere, and you make a group, they tell you things you cannot even get out of a survey, out of a rating. Unfortunately, I know a lot of online companies won't do that. So they don't meet the customer. But think about it. Sometimes you should meet them. Benchmarking means that you look like your competition is doing. So you can put a customer journey mapping with the steps and the feelings of their customers on your competition and see what they are making better than you. Which part of the journey is better than you. So you can look how to copy it, or at least how to make it, or how to make it better. Social listening means is all the comments you have on Facebook, on Instagram, on any social media, and you should watch that frequently. So your image can really go down if people talk to you about you negatively on social media, and you should respond to that, and you should monitor that. That's what we call social listening. So these are all the feedback resources you can tap in, and you see there are a lot of them. Most companies, of course, start with ratings, which is already a very good start. Now, beside of that, you have also internal data. So all the inquiries where people ask, where people get lost with your services, and all the complaints where people are negative to your hotline, of course, you should have look and see what are the major issues, what are the pain points. Then with Google Analytics, and with other internal data, you can see how people behave on your services. When do they pay? When do they drop out? How many % go to the next page of your e-commerce and so on? And then you can ask why they drop out. And then one important thing about customer experience is retention data. So you should measure on a monthly basis, ideally, how often people come back and why they come back or why they don't come back. Yeah, this is called retention. So these are a lot of points, a lot of data. And believe me, in most of the companies, you already have this data. The problem is you don't have it under one function and you don't consolidate it. And from MPC, we will offer you in June, July, a more comprehensive customer experience training. And then we can also offer you consulting services to help you to consolidate all the data and build customer journeys in your company. So if you have any interest in that, you can contact us on MPC. Any questions on survey data or on customer feedback? Okay. So when you do all these surveys, you can find out easily how most of your customers feel on each step. Yeah. And here you see another example of customer journey and pain point mapping. So here we have an example, maybe from Amazon. Somebody called Lizzie wants to shop for a dress. Yeah. So at the beginning, the gray line is actually neutral. You feel neutral. Normally at every beginning of a journey, maybe you feel neutral. Some of you already felt excited before they took the webinar, so I'm more lucky on that. Thank you very much. But a lot of customers feel neutral at the beginning of the journey on the gray point. And then normally when you look at a page and when you search, it's exciting. I mean, your landing page should be exciting. If your landing page or the first start of your service, if you run a coffee place and people enter into the door and it's already bad, then you have a problem with your service. So the first step should always be pretty positive to really make customers happy and excited and to go on. But in her case, she searches online for a dress and it goes pretty negative because she can't find something on her budget and she even cannot find her size. So she has a little bit of negative feeling. And then she finds actually her size, so it goes better. But then she finds out on a negative part, again, there are not many choices and people like choices, yeah? Many choices and options, yeah. But finally, after searching around, so it's a very patient customer, she finds a dress, okay, which makes her very neutral, yeah. And she probably has some questions to the store, or maybe it's a Facebook store, and she needs a confirmation, but there's a long waiting time. So if you have a long waiting time on the checkout, or even the payment checkout takes too long, that's also very difficult for customers. Yeah. But finally, like I said, she's a very patient customer. She hears back from the store, and she likes the item and price, and she buys. Yeah, and this is what we call a sentiment mapping, and you can do that for your customers. Yeah. So I will show you that at the end. We have 2-3 slides more. I will show you that at the end, and we can give you that as a homework. That you really map out the steps of your product and services, and from your knowledge or from your research with customers, you can ask them how they feel in every step. Remember, not every step has to be positive. I mean, a payment step cannot be like super, super positive, but at least it should not be negative. Yeah. And if you make a journey like that, we always advise, sometimes a journey can go negative, especially when you have an expensive product or something, but it should not go up and down all the time because this is confusing customers. So one times down is okay, but up, down is really a very difficult or a bad journey. Good. Do we have any questions on this sentiment customer journey mapping here as an example? Okay, let's go on. So here we have a little bit more detailed one. So if you really want to do a full customer journey, you can also map the customer activities and the customer goals or needs. Yeah. So this is a very professional customer journey, just as an example. So you can put the customer goals and the customer needs versus your touch points and versus the activities of the customer. And below you see again the curve of the experience. So this is a grocery shop delivery. Yeah. So he sees at the beginning the shop, then he adds to the cart, then it's the ordering, decision and ordering, delivery and use, and at the end is the after sales step. We will send you the material so you can have a more close look on it. This is just an example for a more detailed journey. Okay, now at the end, what we want to show you quickly is, so this is how you map and measure your customer experience, but normally you should also implement customer experience in your companies. And like I said, we can help you on that. So if you interested in having customer experience as a function in your company to really make the overall experience on product and service and UI, UX and everything better, you can contact us for that. We'll show you here like the basic steps. So normally you have the step where you get the feedback and data together and all your research. So you need a little bit of research function, that you know what is going on, how people talk about you, what are the main complaints, in which part people are very happy and so on. And then you have to get some root cause analysis behind, where you ask yourself, why are people happy? Why are people unhappy? And maybe in this part, you have to do some surveys, yeah? Or make some phone calls to customers or meet them, yeah, to really understand why. And then the next part, what we do on customer experience is to fix things. I mean, first, if a single customer has an issue, customer service should fix it for the single customer as fast as possible. But then, if a lot of customers have the same issue, you should fix your internal processes or your products or your services. These are normally the three dimensions you are fixing on a constant level. And then after the fixing, what is very important is, don't be just happy that you fixed it. You also need to check the feedback on your improvements, on your new services, and measure if it really worked or not. If not, you have to go back into the cycle. Okay? So this is a little bit a customer experience cycle, how to implement it as a company, and this is normally in companies a monthly process. Yeah. So how does the process normally look like? I have a second slide on that. So you would start with customer experience. So the first thing you really have to do, you have to announce it, because customer experience is a little bit of change management, because you tell actually your company, now we really focus on the customer. A lot of people call it customer first, yeah, or customer is king or whatever. But you have to announce it if it's not already standard in the company. VOC means voice of customer. I will write it in the chat quickly. Voice of customer. So it means we are listening to the voice of customer in the company, and we take it seriously. And you can roll it out as a project, or you can roll it out as a full function in your company. Yeah, that's up to you. We can help you on both. So the first thing you have to do, you really have to collect and track all the feedback. And believe me, if you're an established company, you already have a lot of feedback. So you don't have to really open a lot of feedback channel. The challenge is really to consolidate it at the beginning. The second one is you have to set up meetings with everybody who works with customers. Like we said, the product guy, the UI, UX guys, if you have collection, anybody who works directly with customer touchpoints. So they have to meet once a month and look on the customer journey. And then normally, even in a big company, you would start at 3 to 5 projects a month. Start very slow, yeah, and try to get them fixed. Yeah, so make a project about your landing page, make a project about better ads, make a project about better taxis or better smell in the taxi. Only one point, fix one thing at a time, 3 to 5 maximum per month, and get it done. And this is how you move on a monthly basis. So that's what we call continuous improvement. Yeah. And then you have to track the results. I mean, people in the company will be responsible for these improvements, and you as a CX team or as a project management team or whoever is in charge of CX should track that, yeah, and measure if it's really had an impact, if customers really are more happy or don't complain so much anymore. And then when you did something good, please inform your company and the customers about the result. I mean, I see some companies who really roll out new functions, but as a customer, I have to discover it. I don't get any notifications. So sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's easier when you inform them. Yeah, and encourage your people in the company, because it's change management, about having a lot of ideas for CX. So we normally say that the people who work with the customer, like your salespeople or your customer service people, they have the best ideas for customer experience, not the management. That's how you encourage ideas. And then when you do this cycle, ideally on a monthly basis, you repeat, repeat, repeat. This is how you do customer experience in a company. And like I said before, we can help you to initiate that with the right functions and with the right research and the right project management. Do we have any questions about how to implement CX in companies? Okay, so we come back to our previous example. So for everybody who is more interested in CX and in customer journeys, especially touch point and pain points, we will send you the slides and also the email here. So your homework, and we will give you a free review on that. You can map the 5 to 10 steps of your customer journey. So for example, if you have a coffee shop, you say, okay, the door is the first step, the ordering is the second step, the payment is the third step, waiting is the next step, getting the coffee to the customer is the fifth or sixth step, payment and feedback. Yeah, so anything you sell or do, you can map it in 5 to 10 steps, high level. And then, like we did on the Grab example, you can add the touch points. Yeah, what are the single item he has to do in each step, and the feelings of the customer. Like here on the left side, you can draw a line in the middle and you can say if he's in this step above or below of the line. You can collect feedback from your customers, or you can estimate it from what you know about your business. Okay, so if you want to do this homework, you can send it to learninghub@mpc.com/mm. You can also see that in the chat. Thanks, Nono. And we will send you the slides as a PDF and also this information again. So thank you very much for attending the customer experience introduction today. If you have any questions, now we have a little bit time for questions. Please in the chat or let us know if you want to talk. On the last slide, you will see QR code. You can copy with your phone for the rating, and we will also give you a rating on the chat, a rating possibility, and we'll send you by email too. Okay. Does anybody has any questions? Yeah, this is the rating link if you cannot do the QR codes. Okay, no, would you say the announcement before we do any questions?
Sure. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here, and thank you, Carsten, for your great presentation as well. And recorded version of this webinar will be uploaded on the MPC YouTube channel, so you can see there, and the previous webinar as well. And we have an upcoming webinar in the next Tuesday regarding about the identified risks in VUCA world. So it's the same time at the 7 p.m. We will announce it on our MPC Facebook page. You can reserve a space for our webinar as well. And another good news is we have a full course training for Agile and OKR online training on 30 and 31st with Mr. Carsten Ley on 30 or 31st May. We will be announcing full detail on our page as well. And then also, if you need any help with the support with the customer experience consulting, please contact us, and then we will be available full course of the customer experience online training on the coming June as well. So thank you, everyone, and then don't forget to answer the feedback, and then we look forward to hear from you too.
Okay, thank you everybody, and thanks for your feedback already, and thanks for your great participation, and especially the ones who shared their customer experience. And thank you so much for your input and your active participation on the chat and on the microphone.